the original Stretch Armstrong with ultimate stretching power. Stretch him again and again and again. He can reach higher than a building. Tie him in a knot.
All right, guys, no injuries today. That's good news. Day 2, no injuries. With some interesting news, some good news, some bad news, unless you got a lot of hopium. I'm going to cover it all. The addition of Armstrong to the rescue. Tua talking about Hill. Some reports from today that were positive. Obviously, it's still glorified flag football. Paul looking like a beast. Sealer talks. Before I cover it, I just want to say Matos had a neck injury. What a scary thing. You come in for training camp and all of a sudden one guy blows his knee out, apparently. Another guy almost got paralyzed. He still doesn't have feeling in that right leg. This sport is something else, and it is so brutal. That's why I kind of judge how they should get paid a little different than other leagues. But thankfully, he's getting better. Hopefully, the feeling comes back. Terrible, terrible event. Thankfully, he's taken care of. So there's a lot of stuff to cover today. I'm going to get into it. I was reading someplace or watching someplace. The algo gods have new appetites. They love comments and interaction, and so it's not going to feed your algorithm unless you got interaction. So I love the comments, so please comment, definitely like, definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell. All that stuff keeps Curtis in the biz. And I want to say, I haven't said it, thank you so much. 9K. I never ever thought I'd get to 9K. I know my sponsors want the 10K. That's the big deal. That's the big next level. But 9K is an amazing. I'm so grateful for all the support, guys. Without you, this show ain't going down. Obviously, I'm going to get that back in eventually. But guys, thank you so much, so much. So let's get into it. Matos is obviously the big deal. It's a real thing beyond football. But we signed Cornell Armstrong. We drafted him a while back. He floundered with us, floundered with other teams. And people are making fun of Darren Waller for missing last year. Armstrong hasn't played since 2022. And it was like, small snaps, spot duty. He wasn't good. So this is clearly a critical situation. We are on skid row with the cap. I think that Burns going down, and it appears it's like a long time, is going to drive up the price for these veterans like Rasul Douglas and whoever who want to come in here. And they were already out of our range. So it appears Armstrong is coming in. He'll be a camp body. But this is saying Bonner and Storm Duck and Kohu and Marshall. There is so much impetus for them to have a successful season. I think Kohu will be fine. I think we're going to go to a lot of zones. I'm not too concerned about it. Had a good day today. Bonner, he had a good player, but it's kind of like the Tanakana kind of Tana thing, at least the way the coaches see it. It's got to be a lot more than that. Duck played last year, some good, some bad. Marshall's a rookie, but he has a great pedigree. There's a lot of big talk about what he did going against the number one guys in college. But there's a lot of asking for this cornerback group. And Armstrong is not coming to the rescue. But that says a lot in so many ways. You really need Duck or Marshall. I'm not so big on Bonner just yet. I've heard for some people he's kind of like a little bit of in a doghouse with Weaver and a crew. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. It's not, but for some reason the skill sets isn't exactly what they want. They prefer the Duck and they prefer the Duck. I prefer the Storm Duck too. And Marshall, big guys who can kind of jam. So you got 3 guys. So you got Kohu, Marshall, and Storm. Let's say those guys all pan out. One injury, and then you're digging into like the C squad. We are really, really thin. This definitely creates a lot of tension for the need of these guys to step up and then to stay healthy. This is going to be a very interesting storyline, very huge storyline. Maybe they find some cash to sign some guy. I just don't think so. You'd want to invest in that guy, get him in now, if you're really looking at a vet, it seems like Armstrong to the rescue. I don't think so. Now, a little bit on Tua. People say he's a nice guy. I think so. Sometimes he doesn't, who he wants to be and the way he presents himself. He's kind of all over the place at times. He's a nice guy. Some people say he doesn't have the fire. Well, this today was something that you want from your quarterback. This is a good way of handling business, and I think it shows leadership. Cameron Wolf, Tua says Tyreek Hill rebuilding relationship with him and team is a work in progress after Tyreek Hill's week 18 I'm out comment. Tua, when you say something like that, you don't just come back with my bad. You got to work that relationship. Up. He's working on himself. That's a pointed take. And he's A, talking about he needs to work on himself. He's B, saying, hey, we're not good because that's not acceptable. And whether you like to or you don't, you got to like this take, this way he presented, because he could have easily just fluffed it along, kind of like McDaniel did at first and Greer did at first, and then they kind of changed it up a little bit, got a little tougher. So, number one, your quarterback had a good day in front of the media. There was the thing about him not being selfish with his injuries. That's just so tiring, that talk. We've got to see what happens on the field. But this is great news. Tyreek Hill's he's probably going to the Hall of Fame, definitely going to the Hall of Fame. He's your biggest asset. And this is showing Tua is serious. This is showing good leadership. Not saying he's going to carry us here, he's going to do that. But in this bubble at the moment, how can you be unhappy? Now, speaking of happy, look at Paul here. This guy's chiseled. Look at those arms, those shoulders, that chest, and lean waist. Calves are a little thin. But this is why this guy, like I talk about, handling power, can have some bad steps, get caught off balance, but still hold his ground because he is powerful. That's a great sign. This guy is really starting to get me excited. Year 2 is going to be a big step forward to him, but looking like that, man, I wished I looked like that. That is a great look for him, and it's a great sign for us. We also heard Sealer today talking about he doesn't curse. He hasn't cursed since high school, which I can I curse since high school, but I've stopped a long time ago. I think pissed is the only word he uses. That's who he is. He's a lunch pail guy. He's kind of said, I'm going to do what I always do, which means I come to work. I'm not holding out. It's great news. I don't know if this is going to apply to next year, but this year he is who he is. He's coming to work for half the price or a 60% discount, and that's great news. Speaking of, there were some reports today of Jonah Savaianaya moving Sealer around like they haven't seen Sealer being moved around. And that's my biggest concern for Jonah. And to see that, although it's not pads, it's not all out and all that, it's still a good sign. If Jonah can move guys and dig guys and handle power along with the movement and all the rest, the pass blocking, the ability to block on his own in true pass sets, this guy's going to end up being well worth his price. Long way from here to there, but that's a darn good sign. Now, is it true? I don't know, but that's a good sign, and a few people kind of said that. So good news on that. Now, Daniels was practicing today. Jackson was practicing today. No issues as far as their health. So this offensive line, while yes, this is glorified flag football, the signs are really good. Again, when the pads come on, we've seen it year after year. The offensive line, those great reports, they sink like a stone tied to a 100-ton anvil, and then all of a sudden they look like garbage. This is good news. Let's get to there, but there's a lot of good indications that they're going to normally take a step down. That's the way it is. Defenses get it quicker than the offense. But maybe this year, we legitimately have improvement on this offensive line. Again, like the cornerback group, it's thin, so we'll see. I do like Brunskill. Eichenberg's going to be out for a week, so we're in trouble there. So this is all good news. Now, here's the report. Again, I'm going with Travis Wingfield. It's positive. I want to stay positive. This is like an extension of the offseason of hope. Once the pad comes on and I can see some stuff, then it's a little bit more fair. There's more stuff I can put my teeth into to be more critical. Obviously, the cornerback group and the depth is something that's clear, and the depth of the offensive line. Well, I think Brunskill definitely boosts us up. But here's some good stuff. Austin Jackson sealed on a big run. After that, Jordan Brooks started making runs through and blowing up some plays. That's a downside. Today, Tua was on point, especially with anticipation, throws deep, intermediate. He should. It's glorified flag football. Tyreek ran his best route. Day wide corner, cross face, and catch the ball 25 yards. That's what he does. Not much there. Defensively was all about strength to me today. Jalen Phillips set hard edges through practice. He made some big change tracks on 3 occasions. This is huge. This is so huge. I'm praying for this guy, and he's a big piece. Bradley Chubb was right there with him. Also had a sack, intermediate pressure that forced a throw. Chop Robinson had a sack. Grayson Murphy had a nice. This is a knock maybe on the offensive line, but we don't know who to go in against. Keep that. But here's another good one. Jordan Phillips looks like a problem to me. He gets off the ball so quick and then goes to the power and strength and overwhelms guys. I'd love to know who those guys are. He resets the OLS a couple of times. Now, I'll get back to it, but this is what the guy can do. Now, is he just so powerful that he's overwhelming certain guys? Is he overwhelming the second team? Is this an indication that we can't handle power, or is he so powerful? I don't know, but clearly there is some good in this, that this kid at 20 years old is demonstrating manpower at this stage. Now, if it's at the expense of our prime offensive linemen and then they struggle during the season, that's a negative, but we'll see. But that's a great thing right there. And then you can see Cater had a really nice PBU 7-on-7 on Tyreek. That's always good. I wonder what that route was. Read the leverage, broke underneath, and threw the hand in there. Thought Ethan Bonner had one of the better days of the corners. He stayed on a vertical route, perfect throw by Wilson, and poked the ball out. Now, that's what Bonner's really good at. He's the fastest guy, supposedly. He's super fast no matter how you slice it. So those vertical routes are where he's at. Can he play physical? Can he jam? Can he play zone? Can he tackle? But that's what he's really good at. And so if you bring him in on certain situations and you want him to cover the vertical, then you got a spot guy in there at the very least. So, look, still early stages. Thankfully, no injuries. We need a nice stretch and no injuries. Cornell Armstrong scares the hell out of me. Again, it's putting so much pressure on these guys to step up. But we'll see. See if Marshall steps up and Storm steps up. I think Coe's will be fine. But I don't see how we're not going to be thin unless Bonner really steps forward. So overall, there are some good signs. There's still little peaks because you're not seeing it of concern. But this was a nice day. I thought Tua did his job, did good, came through. Matos is healing. Let's hope he finishes healing. And so that's it, guys. We'll get some real looks, some real info. People knock on Mark Kelly, but I think he does a great job in reporting when it's open to the media and stuff. So we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.